Hi everybody, Jamie here from Riot and welcome back to Thank Punk, it's Friday! Before we get started, I want you to do one of two things. Either pop a like on the page above you if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button down below. Here's all your music news for this week. Turnover released a new track, Sunshine Type. It's the second single off their upcoming third album, Good Nature, out August 25th on Run for Cover Records. This is the highly anticipated follow-up to Turnover's second album, Peripheral Vision, which is still a classic to this day, 2 years on. It definitely feels like Turnover have embraced the chill aspect of that album. Even on that album, they still had shades of their pop-punk roots on tracks like Take My Head especially, and even on the big hit New Screen you could hear where they'd come from. But on these new tracks, Supernatural and Sunshine Type, they're definitely going down the more surf rock kind of dream pop as well vibes. They'd fit more on a bill with bands like Alvvays or Mark DeMarco than Citizen, their longtime touring partners. I've seen a few people say these tracks are a bit boring, but it really depends what you're after. If you want a headbanger, then this definitely isn't for you. Go listen to that Citizen track Jet instead. But if you're after some true chilled tunes, then currently there's no bands better at that than Turnover themselves, and maybe Pinegrove as well. Don't forget that Turnover have announced a UK and European tour for September before their full US tour in October. Great times to be a Turnover fan. The excellent Muskets have released Chewing Gum. It's their second single this year, following on from 17 years. Both songs will be on their upcoming debut album, which they've still not announced. Come on guys, I know you've been sat on that for a year. Just announce it. They have signed to No Sleep Records, so it'll be coming out on that. If you haven't heard of Muskets before, they are an excellent grunge band. For fans of bands like Milk Teeth or Super Heaven, if they weren't quite so miserable. They also have a similar mix of heaviness and hooks as Adventures, Code Orange's side project. I put on Twitter a few weeks ago that Wallflower were my favourite band who hadn't released an album yet. And I basically forgot that Muskets hadn't released their album yet, so I definitely put them in that same bracket. Really looking forward to this one, chaps. Just get it out soon, yeah? They'll be doing a headline tour with Weather State early in August, and then late in August, they're supporting Tiger's Jaw on selected dates in the UK. Alvvays released another track, Dreams Tonite. It's the second single off their upcoming second album, Antisocialites, out September the 8th on Polyvinyl in the US, Transgressive in Europe, and Royal Mountain in their native Canada. This is more of a moody track than the first single in Undertow, which by the way I have had on repeat since it came out. I feel like since the first album the singer Molly Rankin's voice has kind of dropped a little bit in pitch, and it gives it this really cool deep resonance that is really nice. It really works on this track as well. It's dark, it's moody, it could fit on something like the Drive soundtrack alongside Kavinsky or Desire. Really looking forward to this album the other side of the summer. They've announced a UK and European tour in September before a full North American tour in October. A couple of releases this week. Manchester Orchestra released their fifth album, A Black Mile to the Surface, today. It's been 3 years since their last album, Cope, and it's great to finally have a new Manchester Orchestra album to sink our teeth into. I spoke about the singles that have been released in previous weeks, The Alien, The Gold, and The Moth. All great tracks, but definitely taking on a more contemplative and expansive sound. Definitely a new direction from Manchester Orchestra. I'm really looking forward to sitting down with this album and having a proper listen. Milk Teeth have released their new EP, Be Nice. It's the start of a new chapter for Milk Teeth. It's their first release since guitarist and vocalist Josh Bannister was replaced by Billy Hutton, formerly of Hindsight. It's also their first release since signing to Roadrunner Records. That is huge for a band like Milk Teeth. Roadrunner are obviously a division of Warner, a major label, and we've previously seen what working with a label like Roadrunner has done for Creeper. I mean, it's opened so many doors for them. They're doing huge tours now, and their debut album did incredibly well. And Milk Teeth have kind of moved into new territory. They've moved away from the furious riffs that marked their early releases, and definitely into more hook-laden territory. Owning Your Okayness is such a catchy tune. I think that what they've got coming in the future really fits their new sound as well. They started their UK tour last night with Employed to Serve and Wallflower, hitting up Manchester tonight. Looking forward to seeing them. They also hinted on Twitter that they're releasing another EP this year. Many people have speculated that it will be called Or Go Away, as in Be Nice or Go Away, which is pretty much their slogan, but we'll wait and see on that one. I think you're probably right. Converge are back. The crushingly heavy hardcore band have returned with a new 2-track EP, including a video for the title track, I Can Tell You About Pain. There's also an expansive 7-minute hardcore odyssey called Eve. This is in support of their current US tour supporting Neurosis, and also an upcoming headline appearance at Arctangent Festival in a few weeks. As if that festival wasn't gloomy enough. Counterparts released No Servant of Mine. It's the second track off their upcoming 5th album, You're Not You Anymore. That'll be out September the 22nd on Pure Noise Records. For a band that changes their lineup as often as Counterparts do, they remain remarkably consistent. Another rager from the post-hardcore band. They've also announced they're doing a Canadian tour with Straight From The Path before coming back to the UK with Polar and Napoleon. Can I just say as well that Pure Noise have been smashing their heavy releases recently. They signed Not Loose, Counterparts, and recently Terror. For a record label that's mostly known for its pop-punk counterpart like The Story So Far, Boston Manor, and Seaway, that is pretty good going. Cloakroom released The Sun Won't Let Us Go. It follows on from their single Seedless Star a few weeks ago. Both will be on their upcoming second album, Time Well, out August the 18th. This will be their first album on Relapse Records after signing for them from Run for Cover. Seedless Star was more of a heavy affair, but this track is more melodic, while still retaining that whole depressing shoegaze thing. It's kind of reminiscent of the Benz era Radiohead. Kind of gives you an idea of what level of depressing we're at here. Lamelda released a single Out There this week. That's off her upcoming debut album Thanks, which will be out September the 8th on Double Double Whammy Records. Lamelda recently toured the UK with Pinegrove and has also announced she'll be joining them on their US tour. Very chilled out, as you might imagine from someone touring with Pinegrove. If you like the recent Rat Boys All Waxahachie albums, you might like this. It's kind of chilled alt country. Kind of reminds me a bit of old Iron and Wine as well, but maybe that's just me. Knuckle Puck released a new track, Gone. The Chicago pop-punk outfit also announced that the follow-up to their pretty successful debut album, Copacetic, will be called Shapeshifter and out October the 13th on Rise Records. The press release says that despite the title of the album, this isn't really a reinvention of their sound, and that's pretty much says it all. If you like Copacetic, then you probably will like this track as well, but if you didn't like them before, you're probably not going to find anything new to pull you in. And Stand Atlantic released Mess I Made. That'll be on their new EP Sidewinder, released 15th of September on Rude Records. It's kind of straight up pop punk for fans of bands like All Time Low or Forever the Sickest Kids. And that's all we got time for this week. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, like the page. Have a great weekend, guys, but for now, thank punk, it's Friday!